We are live. Good afternoon. It's a Thursday, actually. Thursday, August 20th today? 14th, sorry. I'm a little late. Quick here. Anyways, welcome to Let's Talk, Real Talk on Parental Alienation. And our topic tonight is Three Strikes Law with Yani Kühn from Charlottetown, Canada. Welcome back, Yani. Thank you for joining us. And our viewers, welcome grandparents, alienated children, alienated parents, friends, family, constituents. Thank you for tuning in today. Today's a good day for everyone to understand what the Three Strikes Law is. It's happening right now with Robert Garza is out in the USA. And he has done a great job bringing awareness to what's happening out there with our children. We have a lot of people trying to get a bill passed, and we're so grateful that Yani is here with us today. So I'm going to put the floor to Yani while I share this show. Anybody who has questions, you have to go to YouTube and put your comment in the comment box and we'll answer it. So thank you, Yani.
Thank you for having me, Mary. So today I would just be starting to talk about how does something become a law. Because when there's not clarity, people get confused and then they take haphazard action. So if we want to make progress, we first need to get clear. So for example, if you're on a fishing boat in the middle of the ocean and it capsized, the first thing that we need to do is to calm down so that we can think clearer. Because if we can't think properly, then it's going to make things worse. And they did a study where they showed that more than 90% when people had failures in their life, it was because they acted out of fear. That was the common denominator. So we first need to calm down and then we can see what we can do. For people in the United States, just to copy and edit the drafts for their jurisdictions. And I focus on the Canadian portion to help get the Canadian federal laws in, because anybody from any province in Canada can help with the federal laws, get them in. So I went to the member of parliament yesterday and asked him what we can do. So he gave me quite a lot of useful information that I've put in a one-pager. So it's very easy for a beginner to come in and see, oh, okay, this is my next step. So any questions, or can we start with that?
No questions right now.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to share the screen and then you can let that in, and it will be easier to follow from there. You see it there? So there are three different
ways. But it disappeared. Hold on. How's that? There you go.
Okay, so there are three different ways how we can get something into a law on the federal level. And the easiest way is to contact the Minister of Justice. So here under, do you see the next actions that I highlight here?
Okay.
So step 1 is to schedule an email to go out on the 15th of September to the Minister of Justice, and here is his email address. And you can get the draft of that amendment. If you click there, see there it opens up the 3 strikes law draft, and then you can just copy and paste that into an email and send it off on the 15th of September. So that we make a buzz. So that is how easy it is. It's not rocket science. And then you just repeat the same step for the 20th of September, and then you send it to the Attorney General, and there is his email address. So I can go through all of these others, but we can take it step by step. It's not because most of the people that whose relationship with their children gets undermined, they are very overwhelmed. So make it very easy for us, and then I follow this model where we can where I break it down, make it manageable steps, not very difficult. There's enough time in between, and you can even do both of those, step 1 and step 2, right now, and schedule it on your email. So I wonder if I should show you how to do that, and I'm gonna share that now. Do you see the email that I have open here?
Okay, I'm very small for me to see, but yeah, I can see it. I just can't read it. So if you could read it for our viewers.
Okay, so I'm just basically copying and pasting. I'll have to stop sharing and share my whole screen to make it bigger for you, and then it will also flash it. Okay, so I'm just getting changing the approach here, and that is what people should keep in mind is when one thing doesn't work, we just take a different approach because somehow we are gonna get it done.
Right,
Um,
right.
we shouldn't just give up because somebody,
Told you to.
yeah. So now I want to share the entire screen, but it doesn't. The share option is grayed out. Okay, there I found it. So while a lot of us went through trauma, we can still do something. It's like having a crooked stick, but you still can hit a very straight line if somebody passes you a ball. The ball will go in a right um, a straight line.
Right.
So now you see my. I just want to ensure it's showing properly there. You see the Google Doc.
I don't
Where,
see anything on there.
oh, did you share? You remember you have to. Uh,
Yeah, I don't
shoot.
see it. You got to send it, like
Yeah,
email it.
I did send it. Do you see my shared screen? Is what I mean.
No.
Okay, there's a portion that you told me earlier that you have to add it to when
Yeah,
you share that you add it.
I had it earlier, the beginning.
Yeah,
So what happened?
remember I said I had to switch to share the whole screen, not just the tab, because it had various different options there. Okay, so now we have,
There it is. Okay, so now you got to change it. There you go.
yes. So here we have that document open. There's 3 strikes. I highlight and press Control C and put it into the email. And to switch your email as fast as I did, you 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 can press Alt and Tab, and then it will change it very quickly. So it's very easy. I just copy this email, and then there is the 3 strikes law, and then you copy and paste it in there. So, and you can make the subject something that would be open. So now I'll get something that's a bit more professional than this. But this is just to give you an idea of how easy it is. And then when you send, you press here. See, there is a schedule sent.
Okay.
And then it gives you some options there, but you don't pick any of those. You pick September the 15th. See, it's a Monday. And then you put in the time and you say schedule sent. So here at the bottom it shows it did it, and then you can view the email. So I'll just cancel send now so that I can just type it a bit more professionally. When I have some time, I could then share that with you as well, the introduction to that.
Right.
So that is, I don't think it's going to get any easier than that. So the 3 ways that I mentioned that we can, that something becomes a law in Canada. We also made this folder that you can request access to. It's called Family Law Reform 10 because there are 10 provinces in Canada. Now, when you get access to that, you'll see we have the context there. We have how does something become a law in Canada, which I want to open here. And a person can read through it, but there are 3 parts to government. And I highlight them here. It's the sovereign, the Senate, and the House of Commons. So, and to make something a law, you have 3 venues to go through. The first one is the Ministry of Justice, because if they accept it, then it's done. The second option is, let me just go back here. So there are 3 ways listed from easiest to hardest. So the Minister of Justice, if he likes the bill, it's going to be the easiest way, and we can even get it in by this fall with the next round.
Right.
The second option is a senator, to get a senator to support the bill, and that will take a bit longer. And the MP, get an MP that would be willing to support and front this, table this bill, that would be a bit harder to find. And there are some obstacles that people can run into, but all of those are in this document. So here at the bottom, the conclusion is opposition and bill success. So the opposition MPs, that would be somebody from the Conservative Party or the NDP or one of the other parties instead of the Liberals, because a lot of them are excluded from fronting a bill because of these reasons that's mentioned here. But if we take the first three steps that I've highlighted here, we have enough time to read the next things that are available. But all the steps are here. Here are more than 6 steps. So there's a lot of work that we can do immediately and make some progress. And when we're done with that, we can move on to do the rest that's also available.
So
Any
do you
questions?
have sorry, I'm going to
Mhm.
interrupt you here for a minute. Do you have a group that you work with in Charlottetown right now to do this? Or are you doing this all alone?
A lot of it I do, but there are other volunteers too. To
So you do have people
yeah,
helping? Okay,
that everybody contributes a portion that they can do. For example, we had another volunteer that just help us to gather all the laws so that we can feed it into our AI for Mackenzie friends. So
right,
when people become a Mackenzie friend, we give them a lot of tools to help the clients who need a Mackenzie friend. For the
right.
same
I'm a
way,
Mackenzie friend here in Ontario, and I help people all the way, like Pembroke, um, Ottawa, London. I have a lot of people that I go in to family courts with or Zoom. I do a lot of research with Vernon Beck. He's helping us Canada Court Watch. He's
yeah,
training many. So we are going to be starting a program to have people become Mackenzie friends on educating them. So this is wonderful that you're doing it too. But
yes,
you're using AI, and we're just starting to use AI
yeah. So
as
we
well.
don't have to reinvent the wheels. We can share what, because it's almost like a puzzle. You have different
Yeah.
portion of the puzzle, and if I find somebody that can do a better job than I do, then I rather refer the volunteers to that person. But the thing is that a Mackenzie friend would do best if they specialized in one jurisdiction. So if you're in Ontario, you will start to know and learn the Ontarian
Yes,
laws.
I'm in Ontario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we that are in Prince Edward Island will focus just on that. Now,
Yes.
if somebody, let's say somebody from Nova Scotia come, we could help them, and in the process, we look for a Mackenzie friend
We
there.
can train someone or find someone, right?
Yes, so
Yes.
that's Mackenzie friends, which is a different um, opportunity than what we're doing right now, which is advocacy for the laws to become uh,
Consistent, even, equal.
yeah, and one of the big challenges that we struggle with is that we have to pay boatloads of money to lawyers, so, and the system that they can decide every case what need to be done there. If we give them the tools, which is the proper laws, like Robert identified them, then it's going to make everybody's job so much easier. Now we have to pay the lawyers to do something and get us as close as we can to what is rightfully ours
Hmm.
with a broken law. But if we fix the law, then the need for lawyers would be very small. So there might be some resistance from them because um, I always use the analogy if let's say somebody just come out of school and he can convince everybody that they have to pay him to tie their shoes
Mhm.
or make it a law that he has to get paid for that. Now, the moment that you're gonna say, no, but I can tie my own shoes and I can teach other people how to tie their shoes, he's gonna come and get upset with that because it's gonna be too easy for people to tie their own shoes, and nobody's gonna pay him $5 every time when they want to tie their shoes. It's the
Right.
same repetitive action, but now you have to pay somebody. And we're not talking about $5, we're talking about $300 an hour plus HST. That's another $60, depending on which jurisdiction. And the cheap custody battle in the United States is $50,000. So that's a cheap one. So
Yeah, you get a McKinsey friend that knows the system, that is there to help the person deal with the corruption and everything else that you pay 50,000 for, where a McKinsey friend will do it. I mean, sometimes we don't even take money, we just, do it to help people. But if someone can donate something to that McKinsey friend, because that's a lot of work for a McKinsey friend to do, but we don't get to speak in court, though. That's the thing.
yeah, but the thing is that Mackenzie Friend's not a lawyer.
No, exactly. We're just
So
there for support, to hand out paper, to keep them organized during if they're pro se, right? If you're pro se, you wouldn't need a McKinsey friend because, I mean, you would need a McKinsey friend because if you have a lawyer, the lawyer will do all that for you. But they're charging you phenomenal fees. Where your McKinsey friend will do the exact same thing, but in a silent way and just keep you on track as to where you're growing when you're speaking to the judge so that you don't, babble and move on from one topic to the next. So this is what we are trained to do, to keep
yeah,
people
no,
focused.
we need to also be very careful because a Mackenzie Friend doesn't do exactly the same thing as a lawyer. Because
No,
if we start giving people that impression, then they might block us on profiles and stuff because um, legally it's not the same.
no,
And
we're not the same as a lawyer at all. By far, we're advocates,
yeah,
right? So
so
we're there to, like, to support the people,
yeah.
the victims, that
Now,
are dealing with the other parent or whoever is back there. Because I do it in criminal court too, Mackenzie friends.
yeah,
Do it in family court. We can be Mackenzie friends in any court.
yeah. Now there's when I took the in one of the cases here in Prince Edward Island, I asked the judge what is the protocol to get a Mackenzie Friend in the court, and she didn't know.
She didn't know.
So she told me she doesn't know if it's allowed in Canada. I showed them the Mackenzie Friend law from the United Kingdom, which started this whole thing, and she didn't know. So then I sent her some articles from a professional Mackenzie Friend company in British Columbia. So it is in Canada, but remember what we said earlier, if the one road doesn't work, then we have to change our approach
Right.
because she didn't know if it was even allowed in Canada. So when we come with solutions and they are not aware of those solutions, we'll have to be patient with them and show them and guide them through this stuff. And if we have some precedents and um, examples, it will just make it so much easier for them.
Yes.
So, what can we talk about now that would help us get the emails ready for the 15th? Because I think we already handled that.
Well, you could speak out here. You could have anybody. If anybody out there is listening, I mean, if you need to get your case looked at, and contact Yanni. Uh, we're going to put his email address into the question box so that you could ask him to help you write a letter to your politician, to whoever, or you could actually contact myself because I do it with Canada Court Watch. We send out letters to the Attorney General, uh, Premier Doug Ford. I just out, emailed out to Mark Carney, all my constituents, my MPP, Donna Skelly, my MP, Don Mew. I mean, anybody that you have in your area is who you would write your 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 letter to, because they are the ones that are holding the key to this. I mean, without them changing the bill, the law, we're not going to get anywhere. And, it seems like they're all in hiding at the moment. I mean, I emailed my last letter to Premier Doug Ford a month ago, and I still have not heard from him. This is a lot of effort and time that I put into what I would like the Premier to do. So if we get more people to do the same thing, he cannot ignore it. They cannot ignore if there's more of us. There's hundreds and thousands of us here in Canada, and only a handful that are doing anything. The rest are all saying, "Oh, I haven't seen my kid in 3 years, 4 years, 5." Well, come on, try 20. And I've been doing this for 20 years. And the new people that are going through it right away, they need to stop this at the beginning of everything and demand for equal share parenting, demand for cameras in the court, because when you have a camera, the judges are not going to fool you because they're being watched. And this is why they're hiding from us. So we
Now,
need to.
currently, they do have the discretion and the laws that's opposite, but there's a draft for cameras in the courtroom that that's in the process. And Robert already passed that one.
But cameras are allowed. Cameras have always been allowed. It's the judges that are saying no, no, no. But yet, Yanni, if you go on and see what Vernon Beck has done on Canada Court Watch, you will see all the people, the judges, the police, and all them who have stated cameras are allowed in court.
Yeah, no, that's what I said, the discretion. The judges have the discretion.
Yes, but
If,
why? Why are they shutting it off? Like Attorney General just announced $165 million he put into the family court system with hybrid hearings, and yet we can't even get onto the Zoom cases. When our people are asking us to be their Mackenzie friend, we're being denied. This
yes,
is not right,
yes, and
right?
that is why we need to amend the bill to take away the
Yeah,
discretion. So now there will
exactly.
be cameras in the courtroom so that there is more responsibility.
Right.
So
All
I
they
think,
had to do was flip a switch, though, Yanni, is what I'm saying. $165 million in hybrid hearing when all he had to do was flip a switch and then all the cameras come on.
and
This is what we're saying. The corruption is so bad that we see it, and it's so frustrating because it's our money, it's our children, it's our health, it's our families that are being destroyed because of this. Like this is enough is enough. We
yeah,
need to be proactive instead of sitting behind the screen and crying the blues. Do something. Write a
So
letter.
let's just put it in perspective from a different angle. So currently, your children's lives are under the discretion of a bunch of strangers. It's the judge, it's the legal aid, and it is the office of the children's lawyer. All of them have different types of discretions. So some people say it's corruption because we couldn't get what we need to get, but it's also a system flaw. They now this one give don't want to give discretion, and it's a compounding effect that get very frustrating because you can't get the stuff that you need to do. So we need to
It's a
fix.
broken system, yes,
Yeah, so we
but
have to.
there are corrupt people in the system.
Sometimes they are, and sometimes they are also very decent people. Like for example, the NP
Well,
that I
there
went
is.
to
Yeah, I'm not saying
yesterday.
everybody, but
Yeah, so
there are transcripts that are being altered. There are transcripts that have things taken out, names taken out, people taken out. I mean, this is what's got to stop. This is why we need the transparency and the correct accountability to what these lawyers are doing to convince a judge that, you know, let's take this out or let's take that one out. It's not fair.
yes, and
Because
that is why Robert made those drafts for the Cameras in the Courtroom Act amendments, so that
right.
they don't do that stuff. So
What do you mean they don't do that stuff? Who don't do
they
that
take the
stuff?
discretion in a lot of areas away, so that
Oh
it's
yeah,
the
they're
law.
having like their own power trips in the courtrooms while people are watching, and no one can say anything about it.
Yeah, what I'm still talking about the discretion that the law allow for the cameras, but now the judges have the discretion whether or not they can allow it or not. So when you take the discretion away, then they have to uphold the law, and then it's much easier when the law is written more appropriately. You tighten the loopholes so that they can't get out of that, and then it will be much easier for court watch to get into the court on Zoom and stuff. Now, I still think it's going to be more effective if you can be in physically in the courtroom, because they might just tune
Yeah.
people out that's on a screen, not realizing they have to be more transparent. But at least it will give you a proof that you can use in an appeal
Yes.
if they mess up, and next time the judge will smarten up. So
Right. And that way you have your McKinsey friend there too with you know,
yeah,
because sometimes the judges will kick everybody out of the courtroom and you're left alone.
so if you can have a McKinsey friend and you have a lawyer that um, unbundle their services, so
Hmm.
that when you and the McKinsey friend don't know what to do next, then you can go to the lawyer, and the time that you are with the lawyer are optimized. You get as much out of that as you can. Then
Right.
when you try
If
and
they
do,
can file all your motions and everything.
yeah, you can file it. You
You
just
could
need to
file
be,
it too, but when we do it as pro se, it keeps getting returned and returned and returned because they'll find something in there to mess it up. But if you have a lawyer that does it, it's done right the first time, and then they're not denied.
yes. So if you do the drafts and then you give the draft to the lawyer, so instead of spending 2 hours on your thing, maybe it's now just 30 minutes.
Minutes, yes,
Except if you make a big mess and he has to do it all from the start. But
right,
usually when people know what they're doing, it's like a bookkeeper do a big portion and then they give it to the accountant.
right.
And then
That's what I did with my trial and my my lawyer said I did all the work. He just did the motions and everything, you know, set the court date. And I saved myself, and I actually saved legal aid, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Legal aid doesn't pay that much, but I saved myself that much to go to a trial, because a trial alone is $175,000. So they say here in Ontario. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
I didn't lose, you know, and I had no intention on losing after 18 years in court. I kind of learned the steps. I knew what to do. And, you know, like, but when you're at the beginning of the steps, it's so overwhelming. People don't
Yeah.
know what to do.
Yeah, and that is where a McKenzie friend is very handy, because they have been down the road, and then they can tell you how to get there.
Right,
Because anything that you want to learn, the most important question is, who do you listen to?
right,
Because some people teach stuff that they're not supposed to. They haven't learned the basics yet. And then it's like that telephone game we played as children. You say one thing in a person's ear and he say it in another person's ear. At the end, it's a total different message. So now people go and they do a course once, and then they start a YouTube channel, and then they start teaching what they learned, but they haven't actually learned it, they just heard it once.
right.
And
That's why it's important for you
it's,
to be educated with a proper channel, you know, to get certified to be, I mean, not certified, but recognized as a qualified Mackenzie friend or a qualified advocate. I mean, we help people get to be perfected on their knowledge. That we there is no limit to what people go through in the courts. It's always different every day. So we learn too on the tactics and, you know, all these little loopholes that they find to take our kids, or, you know, it's pretty tricky. It's not
yeah.
a good place to be.
So a McKenzie friend can do a certain portion, a lawyer can do a big portion, a judge can do a big portion, and then the laws. They, the more the laws can do for us, the less the human labor uh, component would be. And
Right.
just make it easier, and people can.
Consistent is the main source, because everybody's case is being handled differently, right? One will, a good loving parent, be taken away, and with evidence, there's evidence of the other parent being the abusive parent, but yet that person's getting the child. And then the next one, they do that to a dad. Then the next one will be done to a mother. Again, another dad. I mean, they're just random on who they're taking the kids from. This
Yeah,
should not happen.
and that brings us back to their discretion that's too wide. So
Yeah,
we narrow the discretion with the laws, and then the gaps through which our children fall get smaller and smaller.
yeah,
And then because at the moment it's getting bigger and bigger, because we get people don't learn the basics in the grade that they are, and then they get passed to the next grade, and then they didn't learn the master the basics there, and then before you know it, they're in grade 12, and then they go to college and learn a trade, and there you'll discover they teach grade 3 mathematics, arithmetic, to people that allegedly passed grade 12. And if you look at how most of them spell and stuff like that, now those guys become teachers and teach the next generation. They become judges and people like that. It's ridiculous. We were talking about that game where the message change. Now, if you have people that haven't mastered the basics, they didn't get the education that was supposed to come with the qualifications, And now you play that telephone game, it's going to be even more chaotic than if you had people that use proper language, proper grammar, and their tools of thinking is proper.
Right.
Now you use these people, they don't have a standard. um, One day it's like this, tomorrow it's like that. um, and that's how they grow up, and there's a lot of confusion in the people, and now they have discretion over your children. It's no wonder there is frustration and a lot of anger, because how can a person that don't have children, don't have the education, maybe read a few books on parenting, now come tell you what is right and in the best interest of your child.
Right.
And
This is where the advocates come in and say, no, you're wrong. You got no kids. You have no clue. This is how it is. This is the steps we got to take.
yeah, and if you're in court and you ask them about their experience and stuff, then they give you enough tools to say, but they don't have the experience. For example, they will, if you ask them, so, so are you psychologist? And they say no. I say, but you just claimed you do an emotional evaluation to see if the child is safe in that house.
Isn't
So
it
you
terrible?
don't have the credentials for it. So it's just your opinion,
Yes.
which is based on what?
Over the parent that raised that child. That's just so not right. So yeah.
Yeah, but sadly, we have to uh, we have to prepare our case, and we have to word it properly, because
Yeah. And
if
investigate on what we're dealing with.
yeah, and a lot of times people use words that they think are synonyms, but it might be a different legal concept, like unbiased, unfounded, and
Right.
unsubstantiated.
Yeah.
The
So
people can,
I have to cut this short because we're already 45 minutes into the program almost. And so what I would like to ask you is, if someone came to you today to ask you to help them, are you able to do so with, in different provinces or just in Charlottetown?
both.
Both?
So
Okay.
yeah, so if somebody wants to become a Mackenzie friend, then they can come to us, and then we will get them set up in their provinces. But if a person want to become a Mackenzie or need a Mackenzie friend, in our agreement, they also agree that they will help for a certain amount the next generation. So either way, there's gonna be somebody that we can help.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. Um, yeah, because we can't turn people away, uh, because, a lot of parents, moms and dads have lost everything. They
That's
can't afford a lawyer anymore. So if we're there for them to help them get back up into the courtroom, to plead their case, and then they can move forward. This is what we all need. We need our children to move forward.
yeah.
I mean,
No.
it's holding many, many parents back and grandparents away from their life, because this is what the courts want us to do, is to focus on the courts, to keep coming back so they can make money, more money and more money, more money, like bleed us dry.
Some people are like that, and other people sincerely want to help, uh, but they don't have the tools, and it's like a pipe that burst in your house. Now, many people come in with buckets and mops and stuff, try and clean up the mess, but nobody turns off the main valve. How long are you going to struggle to get the water out of your house if it keeps flooding and you don't turn off the main valve? And that's what advocacy to with getting these laws passed, you turn off the main valve that cause this water to flood your house. And then the McKinsey friends and the lawyers and the judges that come with their buckets and mops to clean up the mess can actually get see the end. The end will be in sight. But at the moment, it's just water coming in because nobody is turning off the main valve.
Right. So, well, okay. Thank you so much for this podcast, Yanni. I mean, three strike law. Can you explain what the three strike law is? Like how many, what is the first strike? What is the second strike? And what is the third? Quickly give us the next, we're going to end this in 10 minutes, okay?
Okay. On that folder that I shared earlier,
Right.
can you see my screen there?
Okay. Can I what?
Can you see what I'm showing?
No, I don't want to see the screenshot. I want you to say, give us the first strike. What is it?
Okay. So it holds parents accountable for repeated custody interference,
And what
safeguard.
happens when they take when they do that? Just quickly give us a breakdown. So the
Like,
first strike, interference.
yeah,
What
it's a
happens
fine.
to the parent that interferes?
It's a warning the first time. The second time, it's a fine, and
Okay,
then
what's the fine?
I don't know what it's currently. Um, it will be in the law where. So what Robert suggested was $500 fine,
Okay. Well,
and
we here in like in Ontario, we take a month paycheck away from them.
okay, so that
So
would be.
that, because that hurts, a whole month paycheck.
And
And then the third strike is
is
what?
that is that already a law back in?
We've been trying, yes. This is not something that, is new. We've been doing this for a while.
So they are not yet taking the paycheck away. It's something that you
No,
hope to.
not yet.
Oh, okay. But anyway, the third time is a criminal contempt or mischief to a court order under the criminal code, section 127 or 430.
Okay, you hear that, you alienators out there? Three strike law. We are coming to amend this so that children have both parents, equal share parenting. The kids get to see grandparents. Our children are growing up to be traumatized beyond recognition. My children, my adult children, are adults, 20 years alienated, kept bringing me back to court over and over and over. Judges should never have allowed this to happen. They were 15, 17, and 18. And the last time I saw them in family court, they were 34, 33, and 31. They suffered psychotic episodes on Zoom trial because they had to continue to lie for 18 years. They told Justice Caraccia that they are severely depressed. They have anxiety. They cannot sustain healthy relationships with anyone, including themselves. They have drug addiction, they alcoholic addiction, sex addiction. I found my son in the dark web wearing bondage, having women throw teacups at him. I mean, this is something that we don't want to see. And our children, they cried suicide, telling the judge that, what they have gone through. But they don't understand because at the end of the trial, my one youngest at 31 said, he didn't alienate us. We alienated her. But yet I got brought back to court being accused of estrangement. And the silver bullet was used, which is a tactic that the alienators will do to keep you away from the kids. You get falsely arrested, you do prison time, your life is ruined, you lose your job, you lose everything. And we need to stop this. So if we implement the three strike law, It doesn't matter. If you are a parent, you still have access to your children. They're taking children to prisons to meet their parents, their moms or dads. Why is it they're taking the kids away from us on false allegations? We done nothing wrong. We raised our kids happy, healthy. Why wasn't that parent complaining 20 years earlier? This is so if we got consistent law put out, implemented, everybody will have to follow. And, if you mess up and you lose a paycheck, the second paycheck, it'll be prison. You may lose your job for that. So think about it, alienating parents out there, you know, be smart. It's the best interest of the children, not the best interest of you. It's all about the children. So let's get together and implement this law with Yani Kühn, myself, Canada Court Watch, and everybody out there that's Robert Garza in the U.S. I mean, we're so grateful for him to be so active, and yet, he's the only one. And so now we got Yanni here in Canada doing it, and that's great. We all need to help each other. We need to help our children. So thank you, Yanni. Thank you again. We could have you back next month for an update on how you're doing with the legislative parts. I mean, we all need to write letters to our premier and our attorney generals. We all know that. So let's
Yeah,
get on the ball.
this is a bit more than just a letter. It's an actionable step, and it's manageable.
Right.
So if we can get it to the Minister of Justice and get him to accept it, we won't need to go through the others. But if he's taking his time, dragging his feet, then we go to the others, and in the
Move on. Yes.
meantime, we get it done. We have three options of getting it done. So
That's
there's a
good.
lot, and who knows? Maybe we get some favor from above, and it's accepted, and then it's much easier on everybody.
Right. And that's what we need to do, make it easier instead of harder, because it's very devastating to see people dying, taking their lives. And to lose a child, to lose a newborn baby, come take it out of your arm and never see them again. Those children wouldn't even know who and what you look like, you
Yeah.
know? And my kids were 15, 17, and 18, and they twisted their whole life. And it's so sad that they had a beautiful life, and yet taking them to Disneyland was the most disgusting thing I could have done to them. I mean, that's wrong, but this is what they do to them. They make everything good that they do remember and turn them bad. And then the kids will grow up hating you forever. But, we are strong. We're here for everybody. My kids are grown up, so I'm here to help the next person that, got a little child missing from their mom or their dad. I'm here to help y'all. So thanks again, Yanni. And next Tuesday on the 19th of August, we have Meg Stan coming to join us. Tuesday the 19th at 1 p.m. She's from the U.S. and an alienated mom fighting for the three-strike law as well. So let's get this happening, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Yanni.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.
You too. Goodbye, everyone. Stay
Bye.
safe and never give up.